So today we're going to be discussing what happens when a borrower goes past their 12-month loan term. As you all know, Epic Impact Investors is a hard money lender here in Chicago. And part of our loan terms is we give a 12-month loan term. Now, a borrower may say, hey, this project is only going to take me 6 months. This project is only going to take me 8 months. That's fine and dandy. We still give a 12-month loan term. Now, that means that if they rehab and they sell the project within the 8 months or the 6 months, that's great. Our investor gets paid back. They're happy. Everybody's good. It just happens sooner than 12 months. But in our experience, most projects take a minimum of 9 to 12 months. So to minimize any back and forth and to really give a benefit to our borrowers, we just start with a standard 12-month loan term. Now, we do require a minimum of 3 months of payments. So, for example, if an investor says, hey, this is going to take 5 months, but it really took them 2 months, never has that happened, but I'm just giving you this hypothetical, and it takes them 2 months and they want to pay the loan back in 2 months, we still are going to require 3 months of payments for our investor. So our investor has received 3 monthly interest only payments. Now, it doesn't have to be their 3 months. They just have to make the 3 payments. Now, what are some of the reasons that someone would go over their loan term length of 12 months? And there could be a variety of reasons, but I just want to go over the most popular. One, maybe the rehab is just not done. They're just behind schedule, or maybe they had issues with permitting, whatever the case may be, right? The other alternative is the rehab is actually done. It's done. However, it's just not sold yet, so they can't pay back the loan. So those are two of the most popular reasons why a rehab project would not be done. In those instances, it's like, okay, well, what are the options? What's going to happen next? What is the process? And I think it scares some people, especially new borrowers. They may be like, oh my goodness, I missed this loan term. They're going to call me in default. I'm going to have to pay all of this interest. They get nervous. And so they don't want to communicate. They may make a dumb decision trying to get this project done or sold or something like that. So let me just allay the fears and just share with you all what would happen. What typically would happen is they would request an extension on the term, right? So they'll say, hey, we're going past our date. We're going to need an extension. It's finished, but it just hasn't sold yet for whatever reason. And we're going to say, fine. Hey, remember, our goal is always to make sure our investor gets their money back plus the interest, that we have a borrower who wants to do repeat business with us, and that home is finished to help enhance and bring wealth to a community of color, right? So that's what our 3 points are in our mind for a successful project. So when we're evaluating and discussing something with them, we're always keeping that in the forefront of our minds. So they'll call us and say, hey, I need an extension request. And there's a fee associated with the extension request. And we may say, the fees range anywhere up to 1 point per month, depending upon the lender. Now, we'll probably say somewhere between, depending upon how long they need, we'll probably say, oh, we'll give you 3 months. That's the minimum. We'll give you 3 months, and it'll probably cost you 2 points, right? And depending upon their loan amount, that will determine the actual dollar amount that they would have to pay, right? Now, in this case, not only would they pay for the extension request, our investor still gets their interest payment monthly. That doesn't change. Epic would get the extension fee because we are the loan servicer on that loan. So we're the ones handling the day in and day out of that loan. And, they can request an extension more than one time. We do have a limit, we do have a cap on the extensions, but if their loan is still in good standing, they're paying monthly, depending upon how far along they are in their rehab project, we could allow multiple extensions. That is absolutely a judgment call and not a guarantee. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if the project is just not done, like they're so far behind schedule, but we have things in place to kind of prevent that, prevent the money from getting ahead of the project. So they might be behind in their project, but they're not ahead in the money that we would, the draws that we would give them for the project, right? So if they're so far behind, they just can't keep up, we could be discussing some type of default rate, right? We can possibly put them in default of contract. Default rates range anywhere from 20 to 24%. It is split between Epic as the loan servicer and our capital investor. And for example, just to break that down, if a default rate went to 24%, 17% of that would go to our investor and 7% of that would come to Epic. Okay. Now, all of this is a judgment call. This is not science. It is definitely a more savvy thought process, and it takes into consideration understanding your borrower, understanding the project, and communication with your capital investor. For example, say we go back to that house that the rehab is actually finished, but it just hasn't sold yet. Well, we're not going to put them in default. They have finished the major renovation. They have finished the construction. The house is listed. They're trying to sell it. So we're thinking about those three things again that make a successful project for us. And so we want to maintain that relationship with our borrower. Our capital investor is still receiving their interest payment, so they're happy. And the home is actually built to help bring wealth to a community of color. So we are well on our way to meeting the definition of a successful project here. So we're not going to put them in default. We're going to say, hey, we're going to give you an extension, depending upon the relationship, depending upon what they're doing in order to get the house sold. We may charge, the extra points, or we may just charge a flat fee depending upon where they are in the process. There are some people who their loan term is up, but it's already under contract and the buyer is just getting their financing done. Well, I'm not so inclined to charge them a full 2% for a 3-month extension when it's really going to be sold within the next 3 to 4 weeks, right? But I may just charge them a flat fee to handle the work that we have to put in to process the extension paperwork, right? We still have to manage that loan. So that's the type of judgment calls that we make as a local loan servicer, and to continue to build relationships with our borrowers, because we want repeat borrowers, and then we building our relationship with our investor as well, all so that we can reach the end result of a successful project, right? That's always our end result, is our successful project definition. So just wanted to drop in and let you all know that that's what happens when a project goes over the loan term, and we give a standard loan term of 12 months. So as you all know, I am Alexis HART McDowell. My husband and I own Epic Impact Investors. It is a Black-owned hard money lending company here in Chicago. And if you're looking for a hard money loan, reach out to us at epicimpactinvestors.com. You can submit a loan application online. And if you're looking to invest with us, if you want to help build communities of color up while building your wealth, you'll receive a great interest rate on your capital investment as well. And you want to see contractors that are of color put to work. You want to see communities of color, neighborhoods turn over, and be a part of that investment and be part of it passively while building your own wealth portfolio and creating a legacy for yourself, then I encourage you to join us. Join our Epic Impact Investors Facebook group. I give information. We have free downloads. I'm live every Wednesday talking about some aspect of hard money lending and Epic Impact Investors to kind of increase that knowledge base so that you feel comfortable moving forward with investing through a hard money lender, namely Epic Impact Investors. Thank you all for tuning in today. Subscribe to our newsletter. We do send a weekly newsletter out on real estate investing, and you can do all of that at epicimpactinvestors.com. Thanks for joining me.